Good day, good afternoon. It's noon on Monday, November 28th. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Mine was pretty low key, but I enjoyed it. Got to spend some time with some neighbors that we like, and then my son and his girlfriend came over. So that was nice. My daughter will be visiting us in December, so we're looking forward to that. So just got some things on my mind. I see stuff in the news and have to comment on it. Well, I guess I don't have to, do I? I just do it because it gets it off my chest. Anyway, how many of you remember way back in 2020, the year 2020? Actually, it goes back to 2019, but it came to a head in 2020. Remember when the Chinese people were up in arms protesting to try to get freedom, liberty, as we in America who have studied history have come to know it? They were flying American flags. They were singing America's national anthem. They were doing and showing all sorts of things that related to America and American freedom as they understood it. And then all of a sudden, after many efforts by the Chinese government to put down those protests, we get COVID. Remember? I remember. I was there. Well, not there in China, but I was here and watching the news and listening to the reports and seeing what was going on. And I kind of put, two and two together. Protests couldn't stop the protests. Now they can stop the protest because of this pandemic. Oh, people are dying in the streets. Now they're fighting again. This time the protesters are protesting against the Chinese government's COVID policies. Now look, all of these things I'm saying, this is for the leftists out there. This is for those who just conveniently ignore this stuff. You can look this up. This isn't Floyd making things up. You can look it up yourself if you care to. But you don't care to, do you? Because it would conflict with your worldview and it would conflict with your agenda, and you don't want to believe it. So you're just not going to bother to look into it. But I'm going to talk about it anyway, because whether you like it or not, maybe something I'm going to say will make you have to start thinking for yourself and paying attention and looking at what's going on and stop believing everything you see on the evening news. So the Chinese government is, of course, as you would expect, cracking down on them. You can get on YouTube and look at some of the videos of the violent crackdown, right? But this time it's about COVID, the government's COVID policies, which were put in place. Why? Come on, anybody? Why did they tell you they put these COVID restrictions in place? That we did it here in America. Same thing, America, Canada, pick one. What did they tell you was the reason? To stop the spread of COVID, to save lives. There it is, to save lives, because we care about human life. This is the Chinese Communist government we're talking about. The same Chinese Communist government that has a one-child policy. Want to look that one up, leftists? Look up the Chinese one-child policy. Look up how they kill after they're born female babies, because they have too many females in China. So their solution is, hey, if you have a female, we're going to kill it. Now, the woman doesn't get a say in this. The woman has no choice. Where are you, leftists? Where are my feminists out there? And don't tell me feminists and leftists in this country, in the United States of America, don't care about what happens in other countries. I'm old enough to remember apartheid in South Africa and how leftists in this country were all over that and protesting that and demanding that we stop doing business with or boycott companies that did business with South Africa and its government. I've seen them protesting things happening all over the world, but they're oddly silent about this one. Go figure. Same thing going on in Iran. Where am I feminist with the way women are being treated in Iran? You don't hear much about it, do you? You have to find the right news sources, independent news sources, not the mainstream media in this country. Oh no, they're not going to tell you about it. But back to China. The same government that will kill its own citizens just after they're born because, oh, we can't have too many of these females running around, expects you to believe that they're implementing COVID restrictions because they care about their people, because they want to save lives. Folks, at some point, you're going to have to open your mind, open your eyes, see what's going on around you, think about these things. I know it's not convenient. I know it's hard. Thinking is not easy for some of you. But you really want me to believe that the Chinese government gives a single shit about its population? As long as the elites are okay, as long as they have enough military left to enforce their will, well, that's okay. But the rest of them, they're a nuisance. They're a pain. What are we going to do with all these people? Well, I know. We have too many women in this country. We'll just kill every female baby. Yeah, that'll fix the problem. And you leftists here in America who are so quick to protest about anything you think is an affront to women or an affront to people of other races or anything that goes against the leftist agenda, you just sit back and say nothing. Oddly quiet. Why is that? Maybe one of you could explain it to me. There is a comment section that goes to this video. If any leftist sees it, here's what I'm saying, and disagrees, and I know you do. Tell me why. Tell me why you're so silent about what's going on in China. Why you're so quiet about what's going on in Iran. How come I don't hear you calling for boycotts of any of their products or asking and demanding that people stop doing business with any of them? Why? I mean, it's a simple question. You should be able to answer it if you have a good reason, shouldn't you? So once again, the leftists show themselves for who they truly are. They don't care about this stuff. They only care about it when it helps their agenda. But China, Iran, they don't help their agenda. We don't care about what goes on in those countries, do we? So once again, just pointing out the hypocrisy of the left, just asking people to look at what's going on around them and to think about it and to ask questions. It's real simple. I mean, you did it when you were a kid growing up, remember? Mommy, why? Daddy, why? 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 Remember? I remember. The difference between you and me is I didn't stop asking questions. I still ask a lot of questions. And I don't always get answers. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I disagree with them. Sometimes I do agree with them. But for the most part, I just don't seem to get any answers to a lot of the questions I ask. And I have to wonder why. Is it because there are no answers? Or is it because some of you just don't want to talk about it? So again, pay attention to what's going on in China, the same country that will kill its own citizens because they have too many people, but want you to believe that they're going to implement COVID restrictions because they care and they want to save lives. And if you care about freedom and liberty, then why aren't you standing up in support of these people? Why can't I hear anything from you on this issue? Just something to think about.